It's a simple message that comes from the heart.
Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
And that's the place.
And that's the place to start.
And that's it. Hey.
Hey.
Everyone, and welcome back to Gene Therapy, the podcast by the band Navier Gene. And that is these guys here, which is James Anthony, aka Coog.
Yodel.
Got Adam Dowd on the bass.
Bonsoir.
And our lead vocalist and guitar, down under here beneath me, is Mr. Eddi Pickard.
Now?
And I'm me, Jenny. I always forget myself. I'm Jenny. Hello. And this is a podcast where the band Navier Gene and myself talk about things that we want to talk about to do with music and the band and other things and general stuff. So hi, welcome back. I just want to put a little thank you. Is this episode 5 now?
Episode 5.
Episode 5, which means that we're going for 5 episodes, which is longer than most podcasts that I've been involved with. So congratulations, everyone, for keeping my attention at least. And I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who has consistently tuned in to the other episodes, including everyone who submitted questions to us and was involved in the past 2 episodes, which have been sort of fan questions. But this episode, we're back on format, which is essentially us just talking between us about things, which is cool. But if you feel like you wanted to submit a question, you missed out, then we do still have our email open, which is genetherapypod@gmail.com. So you can suggest topics, ask questions, tell stories, or anything else that you fancy sending us for the podcast. And as we get those in, if there's anything relevant, then we will have a little feature at the end of the podcast, which we don't have this time, but in the future, there is the opportunity to do that. So yeah. How are we all? Super talkative.
I'm pretty good.
I'm drinking my witch's potion, which is undisclosed potion content.
You've got like a streamer's cup. Isn't that what all the streamers use? Little sippy cup.
Pro streamer for life.
Yeah. I don't know how I am. I'm a bit of a funny mood, if I'm honest.
Funny guy, funny mood.
Hilarious mood.
There's a lot of bad stuff in the world at the moment, isn't there? And it's sort of like sucks. Like it's just every day, but I still feel all right. Okay, powering through.
Yeah.
Doing what we can.
Yeah.
Make things better.
Yeah. There's a lot of kind of rubbish stuff happening. Well, at time of recording, there's a lot of stuff that's keeping us well and truly exhausted in the global news. But that's not what this podcast is about. So keep it light, keep it nice. Eddie, babe, how are you?
I'm kind of with Dowd. I'm in a funky Dowd place.
Funky bassman place.
Funky Dowd bass.
Funky Dowd bass.
Well, I'm glad we could start it off on a positive note, my dudes.
Well, just speaking the truth, innit?
So if you don't know, this podcast is now going to be every other week rather than weekly. So at the time of recording, it's actually Monday the 15th of March. So you'll be listening to this sort of more than 7 days afterwards. So we might be in an even better mood or a good mood by the time you're listening to this. Right now.
Potentially, it could be that we didn't do a podcast last week and now my body's missing it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a week's break. It actually feels like I haven't seen any of you in ages.
There's no catharsis now.
I know.
It's left to our own devices. Basically just getting drunk by ourselves on the Monday and look at us.
I know.
Well, I say look at us, it's only me and Dowd that are in a funk. Coog's staring up a cauldron and you're just chirpy as ever.
I'm putting on a brave face. I'm on the witchy vibes. The potion is giving me
He's got
life.
loads of lean in his cup, that's what he's got.
Got a load of something.
Since you're in funky moods, we've had some good news last week. If you're listening to this, You might be quite excited to have found out a few days ago that Navier Gene has a single coming out.
Certainly do. A brand newer spankers.
And you've all been asking for it. You've all been saying, like, is there new stuff coming? Is there new stuff coming? And we've all kept pretty positively, like, quiet, I'd say.
Aloof.
Aloof.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you guys feel about finally actually being able to talk about it?
Buzzing.
I think it's super exciting, like, to have had the involvement that we have in this single that's coming out. It's quite a treat. It's quite a banger, and it's difficult to know like how much you can say about it until it's like actually there. I'm excited to see what the response is on it. That's the key thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we couldn't have picked a better song to release.
It's very exciting. It was wasn't it the first song that you wrote? Like of
Yeah.
this lot.
I mean, it was right back at the start of all of the bullshit of the run skis, and we'd just stopped being able to rehearse and that. So I was like in a funk, and I was like, "Sod it, just gonna write something and see what happens." And I wrote that, and I was like, "Right, that's something that needs doing more of." So then I wrote a couple more, and I was like, "That's the sound," and then sent it to the boys, and I was like, "What do you reckon to this? I think this is like an accurate representation of what we sound like in a room."
I think what I'm really keen about it is the fact that it sounds, it's fresh. It's kind of, in my opinion, what's needed in the world musically. It's something that is, it's got a beautiful balance of being familiar but fresh. Does that make sense?
I think the key thing, what you touched on there, is that all of the songs we wrote from that point forward have this feeling of nostalgia with it still being brand new music. So
It's the second coming of Jesus.
yeah, exactly. It's exactly that.
The
And like that- and like
nostalgic
that-
second coming of Jesus.
like Dowd said as well, it's not an unfamiliar sound, but it doesn't feel tired and dated. It feels raw and in your face, and it's exactly what the rock scene needs, I think, for sure.
But this is the thing though, right? So from what I was surprised at, because it's been, I mean, obviously I've listened to it multiple times because it's been, it has existed for, is it a year nearly now, that song?
Just under a year. Just under a year.
So for me, from loving the first album, I mean, you can describe, I mean, I'm assuming if you listen to this, you've listened to the first album. So it's definitely a different sound. For me, as a listener, there's a definite difference in the fact that it is, like you said about the liveness of it, and it's like written like a band now. I think that the first album was like, it felt produced and like theatrical almost, like as a comparison to...
It was definitely more self-indulgent, and I think we touched on it slightly in another podcast, but having been in a room with these two, I know a little bit more how they play and what they might do. So in the first couple of songs that I jammed out, I already had put a flair of them on it.
I think it speaks to some of the questions that we were asked in some of the past podcasts about the best way to write or to stop people from bickering during the writing process or being creative and things like that, is that active. I'm mindful of how other people in my band, in my group, write, play, perform, vibe. Let's try and tie all that together.
Yeah, it gave us definitely, I think me and you, Coog, like a foundation to sort of work from as well. Obviously, being at the time like the newcomers, gave us a nice foundation to be able to sort of work on top of previous works and your sort of initial vision with us included, so to speak. It's just nice to be able to sort of carry on from that point.
I think with what you were saying, Jenny, about the first album being a bit more theatrical and stuff, and what I've just said about introducing these two as key members now and key writers, the whole tone of all the music we've come up with and have to release, and all subsequent music that's going to come out, there is no. It's not very flamboyant. It's just exactly what it says. It's a proper Ron Seal type boy. It's like it's rock. It's rock music by three big boys just having a fucking big un. Do you know what I mean? And there's like within that, there's the tastiness and the nuances and stuff. But it's not like there's not gonna be like a Queen Bohemian Rhapsody number in there. It's just hardcore. Every song in your face, boom, boom, boom. And I feel like that speaks personally to me. When I'd written the first couple of songs, I was like, I want this release to be a hard hitter. You want to bang this on the way to a holiday or to your job, and you want to listen to song back to back and just be like, yeah, man, I'm on it. Let's go. I'm on a big day. There's no dips, no peaks and troughs. It's just boom.
Yeah, because the first album was quite very emotional songs in there. So
yeah, it flowed differently to this. This is just purely just, and with the song itself, it completely sets the tone for the entire album. I think if the album was one of them diagrams, it would be right in the middle. This song, and then everything else sort of branches into it.
One of them diagrams.
One of them ends.
He still hasn't learned.
I joke, but it is actually one of them. Like
it genuinely is one of them. Thinking about it now that you said it, when you think of like, especially when with what you said about the fact that you've sort of taken on board our styles as well, because that encapsulates all of our personal conversations of our own likes and dislikes, and that whole. I'd love to see in just my circle. Actually, that'd be fun to watch. See if I could make my own little circle thing.
Venn diagram. It's a Venn diagram.
It's a circle thing forever.
We'll never know what it's called. But yeah, it's buzzing.
But one thing that while you're watching this podcast is that you will have the opportunity at some point while we're talking to hear the first ever sneak peek exclusive little snippet of the first single. So yeah.
Tasty.
I know.
Yeah, we're not telling you when in the video. That's the point. Not telling you when in the video. Can't like skip to the end. You can't go like
skip about.
You have to watch the entire thing. Find out.
It might happen right now.
I think it's also a good point for us to say that this is like the first of many cool things that are happening, and depending on how this goes, you'll have a better idea of what's in store and how excited to get, because some people might be too excited and hear it and be like, oh no, this is actually not what I wanted, which is not going to happen because it's fucking mint, right? But then other people will be like, oh yeah, Navier Gene music could be quite good, and then you'll later be like, ooh,
yeah,
this is tasty.
It's just different. This is the thing for me, and the thing that excites me the most is we've had a load of people have been saying, I really am excited to see you guys tour. Like, I want to see you guys live. And Navier Gene has never been live before, apart from obviously on video with the Gene Pool sessions. But no one's ever been to a Navier Gene gig. And for me, like there's some great, what you guys did with Secrecy and Dial Learn, like kind of what excites me is like you guys saw that live. You guys saw how this would be composed live. For me, this entire song is a kind of thing where I can just picture it live. No one needs to recompose it to be a live band. And as a lover of live music and going and supporting and seeing gigs, like the whole thing gets me really hyped up to go and actually finally see a Navier Gene gig. So yeah, for me, that's like a really key point. Which to me then says right now, we should probably show a clip of the song.
Could do. If a tree falls in the woods, will there be an Navier Gene song released, and will it have a music video? Who's there to hear it?
Everyone's already seen the artwork, which is amazing. To talk about the artwork really quickly, a friend of ours, like a very old friend of mine, I'll say like friend like / acquaintance, but someone that I've known for a very long time, but someone that actually James hit up because you saw. I mean, James, you tell the story because you were the one that basically designed and helped make the entire cover. So
inspiration strikes in the weirdest ways sometimes, and I had an idea by walking down the street on my way to work and seeing a billboard.
For Mecca Bingo, was it?
Yeah, for bingo, and I went, hang on a second.
Idea.
Hang on. A New York minute. There's something here, okay? And I kind of conceptualized the idea, and then I hit up friend, acquaintance,
Friend of the podcast.
chap, friend of the podcast, a local artist called Snapper, who has done some fantastic work in our local area, working with some of the nightclubs and zines and other kind of online work. He's got a very specific style.
He's iconic. So for like just quickly butt in, and while I was excited as soon as you said who it was that was doing it, Snapper is literally like the one of the nightclubs, not Spiders. We've mentioned Spiders. Have we mentioned Spiders before?
We
have mentioned Spiders before. No, we have talked about Spiders, but it's not Spiders. It's another club in Hull, which Eddie Blacktongue has played there, I think, hasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Have you
the
guys
colour
played
line.
there? Colour Line, yeah.
Yep.
So it's an iconic club that's been around, called Welly, which has been around for decades. Another one. It's been a massive part of Hull's sort of nightclub culture and gig culture. And Snapper was basically resident artist as well as other things. But he designed basically every flyer for every thing that was happening, and it was this really cool comic book style thing. So I'll stop interrupting, but for me, that's what excited me, like the concept, and then knowing that this guy was doing it, I was like, it's perfect.
100%. He's got a very awesome eye-catching style. It's very retro pop art, as you said, comic books. So as soon as I had the idea, because we'd spoken about concept art before briefly in passing, and I said, hey, you got any free time? I know it's COVID o'clock, so
All that came into my head then was Arthur.
Hey, what a wonderful day. Ooh,
And that's it. Hey.
hey.
Sorry, it just
Nostalgia.
I had to get that out.
nostalgia.
It's a simple message
And it
that
comes
from the heart.
Believe in yourself,
Believe in yourself.
and that's the place.
And that's the place to start.
start, and that's it. Hey.
Hey! Yeah. We can't say enough about how fantastic a job he did. Totally delivered above and beyond. And God, just get it tattooed on your face. No, don't do that. Don't get it tattooed on your face.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. The temptation, because everyone's seen the artwork now, but I will put it on the screen so you can see what we're talking about. But it's the worms in the background and stuff. That's like the perfect tattoo. I'm definitely tempted with that colour palette. It's definitely tattoo worthy in my opinion.
yeah.
I'm getting it. That's already my plan.
Yeah, Dowd's bagged it.
I want everybody to have it. It can be our like little symbol.
Everyone can get a little worm, green worm.
Come to a show and then just be like, "Hey, look what I've got!" And I go, like that.
There's what's that local brewery that do drinks for bands or have bands do?
Atom.
Is that
Atom.
so? We discussed this when we were back out of lockdown and we out of bar and we was like, some another band in Hull had one done. And we're like, we want one of these done.
It was Let Man Loose.
And I Let Man Loose.
Let Man Loose.
And also, not even also, just back to what I was saying. We were there quite a few beers deep and talking about it, and I was like, what about worms? We could do it and call it Can of Worms. And then Dowd went home and he made this little picture of it. It's just all our three heads on the bodies of worms. And I was like, that is fucking...
Do you still have that piece of artwork?
Yeah.
Can of Worms, though, if you want that, tell us, because we'll get that done, because I want one.
I want.
Yeah.
It.
I'd have a can
I
of
want.
worms.
I want several. I want it specifically to be annoying, so every time someone opens one in front of me, it's like, oh, we've just opened a can of worms there. And then everyone just gets really annoyed with me, as they usually do, for making the same joke. And then I'll just find it funny forever, and then they'll just probably smack me in the head.
Like we could definitely. I think we could definitely do make up a cocktail for people to make at home. If you can make the worms cocktail, and it has to include jelly worm, and you can make that cocktail for us, non-alcoholic or alcoholic. I think that'll be we can display that and show everyone. I think that'd be nice. Someone did that. Any mixologists out there?
I think we maybe need to have our own little taste testing session. Maybe we could have our own go at it as well.
When do you know what? I know that Worms it hasn't released yet, but we're gonna do a podcast after this when it does release. And if someone does actually design that cocktail for us, I feel like we should all make it. And then the next podcast, I'm saying this now. Cut to next podcast. Quick cut to next podcast. We're all just drinking nothing because no one submitted it. But
I'm gonna say this cocktail tastes just like San Miguel. Like
why? But if someone makes that cocktail, I will personally deliver a batch of cocktails to everybody so that for the next podcast we do, we'll all have a cocktail and we'll shout you out. And there's no prizes. There's just the glory of having your cocktail as our drink for that episode. I was going to ask, I've just been trying to Instagram what Snapper's Instagram is, but for some reason I can't find it now. I don't know if he's changed his Instagram handle.
He's Flops Comics on Instagram, I believe, at the moment. Flops Comics.
Flops Comics.
That's a good thing to talk about as well, real quickly, is that especially with this release and all the things we're doing, we're trying to keep everything as local as possible. And it's fantastic that he is local because he's mint, but also just shop local and just see what you can do to support your local area and local scenes. It's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. Are we going back to the advice episode now? We're like accidentally, because half of our podcasts are giving advice to people, so like we can't help but there's a little piece of advice for you.
Really good.
Shall we
play a clip?
Yeah, should we play a clip? But we're making it casual for you skippers cheating on our podcast.
What we're going to do is we're going to play a clip, 2-second bits over the entire video, and you've got to take it out and piece it together yourself.
The cruelty.
Okay, Jenny, editing Jenny, hit it.
I don't know how that was for you, but it was orgasmic for me.
Everyone swapped positions on the screen because of technical reasons. Forget that. So yeah. Song.
So, what's funny is that because that probably be the first, should definitely be the first that anyone else has heard that song other than us. Is it's so hard when you write a song and then sit on it for a year to be excited about something. And I feel like that's something everyone that's creative or that writes music knows, that feeling. And like, I wish so much. Or if I had a superpower, it would be able to delete memories, so that I could listen to or watch things for the first time again. Do you know what I mean? So you could like write a song, make it perfect, listen to it like for half a year, then just delete all your memories of it and be like, oh, I wrote this, leave a little note for it, like a little CD with a note on it saying, yes, Ib, please. And then put it in and be like, fuck, this is mint. How did I write this? But you can never tell because you get so desensitized to it.
Well, yeah, and we've all listened to it quite a lot just because, like, feedback and obviously you're in a band together.
Yes.
But yeah, so then we have heard it a lot. So it's like we're obviously really excited about it, but it's excitement of it of other people here. I mean, why am I talking? It's not my fucking band. You guys talk.
I was gonna say I still get really excited by it. I still get really excited by that tune. I think there's a lot that happens in it that is sneaky that people won't necessarily hear the first time. So you need to go back and keep listening to it quite a few times. I know I had to like a couple of times just to sort of catch up when we then managed to sort of get back into the room to start jamming some of that stuff again after writing it. Just little intricacies, little bits and pieces in terms of like learning to play, but then going ahead and enjoying it as well. It's a bit of a mindset based on what you just said. Like, I feel like I've managed to reach nirvana a little bit, where I can sort of switch off and become an audience member again. Like, it's a really nice feeling to be back into that, because it's been ages since I've been able to do that. But this stuff's really helped me get into like that mindset again. So I've listened to this loads, and it's still real good fun to listen to for me.
No, absolutely. It's a big bag of vibes. Even though we obviously took the ball running when Eddi had the ideas and stuff, and we spent ages doing it, and technically I suppose it is overplayed to some extent, but don't stop it from being an absolute bag of slaps. Just a big can of lads. Just whatever.
It's what you said earlier, Eddie. It's like, it's the epitome of just getting in. Like, if you drive, you're getting in the car, it's the first song you put on the way to work. You got a coffee next to you, and you're just beezing down the road. The speed limit, though, don't go too fast. But
no, this is the pre-drink. This is the pre-drinks. I'm ready to go and have a tasty sesh.
With Worms, it displays that this single and songs that exist writing at the same time are the party, and they're almost like the pre to the original album. And I know that, Eddi, you don't want the original album bringing up all the time, but I feel like the original album is like the downtime. It's like the emotional. It's like that. It's like almost the hangover of the party in like a positive way. So this is like the party.
Well, basically everything that you're going to hear from this point forward, don't think there isn't any depth there, and that it is just a big old party time. It's the deepness is hidden within the lyrics and the moods of the songs, rather than it being such an obvious, here's a slow acoustic song that's about sad things. It's like personally for me, there's some really deep subject material within this album. It's just how it's presented is completely different. So don't be like, oh, I like Navier Gene because Eddi told me that he had a bad time when he went to Scarborough or something. I don't know, whatever the stories are.
Yeah, he went to the seaside and a seagull stole his chips.
There you go. That's what the first album's about. It's a concept album about the chip stealing incident.
Never again.
To bring back exactly what you're saying, so we've done an interview for press, Eddi. So like, because of my role in this, like I kind of write up a lot of the stuff that you say about your songs. And in front of me, I have a sort of snippet of a semi-quote from Eddi, which is about specifically what Worms is written about. And you wrote the song as a reaction to the frustration that you'd been feeling for some years, which is about you want to experiment with new influences when you look around you for inspiration, but when you look at the rock scene, that you see a lot of rock artists jumping ship to more commercial genres or reprising old sound without bringing much more to the rock genre. And that's obviously a really vague statement about the rock genre, but loads of genres are flourishing right now because there's loads of talented new people innovating the sound and doing things DIY. So Worms is the question, why can't rock do that?
Right, so we aren't reinventing the wheel by any means. What we are doing is we're getting like 6 or 7 wheels and making like a fucking super drag car, and it goes real fast.
And there's an extra seat in there just for you.
Exactly, yeah, that's what we're saying. So like, it's like, it's
Oof, spicy.
It's spicy, but it's like you're not gonna listen to the album and think, oh, I've never heard that before, but you are gonna listen to it like, that's exactly what I need.
Yeah,
it feels nostalgic in a even though it's brand new.
It's fucking mint, is what it is. So don't even talk to me about it. Talk to me all you want about it, actually.
No, this is the energetic catharsis for a post-COVID world. This is what everybody is going to need: a shot in the arm of vaccine and a shot in the arm of this, and you're going to be good to go.
Yeah.
And then like 7 shots in your mouth, followed by 15 beers.
Oh.
I do want to finish off a little bit by sort of trying to repackage the excitement that I've seen you guys have for this single. in terms of like when we're able to hang out properly together and have a drink and stuff and play Worms. And obviously, like, it's no secret that there's gonna be other songs after this that are gonna be released at an undisclosed time as of now. But for Worms especially, the excitement that you guys have, and I just kind of wanted to take this opportunity to allow you guys to express that excitement a little bit. And I think that just because it's something that I've seen and other people haven't, it's fucking mint, right?
I personally love this collection of songs that make up a whole thing that could be called something that might be released in the future to death.
I give it.
For all the things we just described, and specifically this song and stuff, it's fucking mint. It is ridiculously fucking fun and powerful and raw, and it gets you in the mood to just go have a fucking fat time with your life, and hopefully sells me and the boys in what we can do and what we're going to provide for you in the future. As a song, and also a collection of songs that also make up something else that I can't say that might happen in the future.
This single specifically makes me excited to listen to you guys fucking absolutely kill it on stage. And obviously the song's fantastic, but I want to hear it done live in my presence in front of me. So as a punter, as an audience member, I'm going to ask my local venue when they're going to book Navier Gene in when they can. And that's what I would like to ask all of you to do, if nothing to get out of this podcast, is to go to your local promoter or venue and be like, have you heard of that band Navier Gene? Can we get them in? Do you know what I mean? Just my suggestion.
I had the real good.
Dowd's got something ticking around his head. Dowd's got something ticking around his head now. He's like, what's going on here?
No,
like,
what was going in my head was just more like sentimental, I suppose, because it is. I think we've said it a few times throughout the entire thing of this, pre and post, whenever the clip has been presented to you. You know, it's got meaning. There's something to read into lyrically. But at the same time, on the surface level, you're boogieing, you're dancing, you're having a good time. But take the time to sit down with it in your ears, really listen to what is being spoken about in this song and any other things that may have come from a pre-release thing. What's the wording you used? It could be happening in the future.
I can't speak, but I can speak cryptically. That's the thing.
It's a single coming out. That's all I need to know.
I feel like what I'm going to do for everyone is after, when we all say goodbye, the end bit will be a nice little clippy, repeat it, so you can all fucking have a good time and repeat and listen to what's been created for your ear holes.
With a video of me shaking my ass.
So what I'm going to do, Coog, we're going to play the clip underneath me explaining when the single is out and how you can get hold of it while you shake your butt at your camera. Are you ready? Take it away, Coog. So, Worms, the new single from Navier Gene, will be available this Friday. That's in 2 days' time if you're listening to this when it releases. Friday the 26th of March across your favourite streaming platforms. Available to pre-save right now or stream using the link in the description below this video or across our social medias if you search Navier Gene. Thank you, Coog. That was beautiful.
CD.
And look, if you don't like the single, at least you got a beautiful shirt of the drummer's bum.
True. It's very bad that you see a drummer's bum, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. For fuck's sake.
What an interesting train of thought that is. Are you speaking like playing live because they're at the back and you can't see their butt, or
because they're sat down?
The guys who got naked.
Because they're sat down in it.
Always sat down in it. Yeah.
They could have a builder's bum though.
Yeah, you're right.
My bum's real nice.
Well, it's only fair. You'll get to look at mine forever, so why can't I look at yours?
Exactly.
I look at Dowd's a bit as well, but I'm more into his shoulder. I don't want to talk about that.
As I sign off the podcast, Dowd, do you want to show off them sexy shoulders for us? Thank you for watching Navier Gene today. I mean, not Navier Gene. Oh, for God's sake. It's gone to chaos. It's gone to shit. Look, come back next week. I mean, in 2 weeks' time. To Gene Therapy in 2 weeks' time. You'll have heard the single, and I'm sure we're going to rant and rave about loads of stuff then. So, yeah, if you have a question, if you're questioning everything after this video, genetherapypod@gmail.com. Send us stories, send us questions. Send us feedback about the single, because it's going to be out in 2 days' time. Woo, woo, woo.
That one.
Yeah. Send us videos of you partying on Instagram stories. Make sure you tag us Navier Gene. Yeah. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy the single when it releases. And we'll see you after that. Bye. Mwah.
Mwah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I never cared when I gave my head.